Alright guys, so my Mini failed MOT due to emissions test, and it was, the garage said it was valve stem seals which need to be replaced. We've quoted 14 hours of labor, which is £90 an hour, around £1,300 to do the job. So for I'll do it myself. This is £25 on eBay, Febby ones. It's alright. So what I've done already is remove the ignition coils, took off the rocker cover, airbox, turbo intake pipe and inlet manifold. That gives me enough space to do the main job now. Okay, before we take the camshafts out the chain tensioner behind over here, we need to lock the crankshaft, and the way to do it, you will need a 18mm socket on a crankshaft pulley to spin it, and from the bottom underneath and behind the exhaust over here there are two holes, one over here and the second here, so you need the second one at the top with this little tool. Will slot in when you spin the pulley over here. It will get in the right position and you will be able to slot it in. So here it is, my tool just went in deeper and it locked, so I can't spin the crank pulley anymore. It means the crankshaft is locked now. From the top as well, this is where the timing tool will slot in on these two parts over here and here, and if you see, they are dead straight now, so it should just slot in here and here and lock into these places. Alright, crankshaft is locked. I need to take the chain tensioner, which is right behind the valve solenoid. Over here there is I think it is 27mm bolt, yeah, 27 socket goes on top over here. Okay, my tensioner is out and I can see that it's an aftermarket part, BGA, not Mini, so the chain was done before. Okay, next step is to lock the cams. So there's a two-part tool that slides on top of the ridges here, and the second part slides on top of over here. It screws, 3 bolts goes in, one here, one in the middle to hold these, and the third one here. So I've already removed the first one. Now the exhaust side, I will remove it as well. It's an E14 socket, so it's properly locked. Alright, the E14 bolt is out. Before you remove the wheel, here it is coming out. I've done with a plastic strap. I've tied the chain over here, not to lose it inside the engine, and later you need to fish it out. Okay, we'll remove exhaust camshaft first. When I come to this one, it will be a bit more involved. We'll need to remove the springs over here before we remove the camshaft. Alright, exhaust camshaft is out. Now the intake one, so this tool goes on top of the springs here. Seats over here, and the other bit is aligned with the spring here. So what it's gonna do is we're gonna push it down and the clip will go on top of it. Also this bit in the middle over here, once it's seated properly, it grabs the spring, so when you spin it, now I've locked it in place. I will unspin it later. Yes, you see those black bits over here? We grab the spring from the inside as well. So now it's unclipped. If I screw it back in, it will catch it. Put it tight. Okay. Okay, now it's properly seated here. All I have to do is now push it down. Here it is, it's clipped. Once it's clipped, there is an E8 socket. You'll need E8 socket to unscrew the bolt here and you can lift the spring out. Okay, E8 bolt to the top over here is out now. Should be able to take it out now. Okay, the springs are off. Now I just need to remove the other bolts over here and the whole thing will lift off. Alright, all the bolts are out. So intake camshaft will come out. Alright guys, here are a couple of tips when you are doing valve stem seals. So I've done some of them already over here, got 5 left. First advice is to cover all of your oil drain holes, because there is a high chance you might lose one of them in there when you are putting it back, putting the retainers, these little things, back in there. The tool slipped for me once and one of them went down. I managed to get it back, but one of them went down the oil drain hole. I'll need to open the oil pan. Another tip is a couple magnets to fish out the retainers or keepers. And last one is get yourself a set of tweezers, because it's much easier to put them back in with a tweezer than with your hands or anything else. Alright guys, so last step to change the valve seals is to take off the springs and also pressurize the cylinder so the valves are shut, and once you take off the seal it doesn't drop into the cylinder, because that's when you'll have issues to get it back. So the way to do it, you have to have air compressor plugged in through the spark plug, and with this tool you compress the spring, take off the retainers out of there, these little things, with the magnet. I've got one like this, it just came with a tool. After that, yeah, it's filled. You take off the spring and you take off the seal itself and later replace it with a new one. So let's carry on, I'll show you how it's done. Alright, so that's all done. You've seen how I've changed. Now the new valve is in, the retainers are back in, you could see that tweezers are necessary. It's a little fiddly job, so better have some precautions taken.